Sir Paul McCartney helped redefine modern music with the Beatles, and his influence has stretched across more than 6 decades. With 18 Grammy Awards, over 100 million albums sold, and countless record-breaking tours, the 83-year-old icon continues to command stages worldwide. Currently, McCartney is in the middle of his Got Back US tour, captivating audiences with set lists that blend Beatles favorites like Hey Jude and Let It Be with newer material such as tracks from his 2023 release Eyes of the Storm. Recently, he generated headlines by reviving Help. In his live shows, a song he had not performed on stage since the 1960s. For all the triumphs in his career, however, there was one surprising opportunity that slipped through his grasp, almost being part of Pink Floyd's legendary Dark Side of the Moon. Back in 1972, shortly after the Beatles had disbanded, McCartney was at Abbey Road Studios recording Red Rose Speedway with Wings, alongside his wife Linda McCartney and bandmate Denny Laine. At the same time, Pink Floyd occupied another studio at Abbey Road, crafting what would become one of the most celebrated albums in rock history. Roger Waters later explained that as part of the recording process, he prepared a series of philosophical questions written on white cards and left them in Studio 3 with a microphone. The prompts were designed to capture spontaneous, genuine responses, questions such as when someone had last experienced violence, or whether they had ever felt truly in the right. Waters invited whoever happened to be nearby to contribute answers, and one of those people was Paul McCartney. McCartney did take part, but his responses didn't make the final cut. Waters reflected years later that McCartney treated the moment as a performance, trying to add humor, which clashed with the serious, raw tone the band wanted. As a result, his answers were set aside. Even so, a faint nod to the Beatles slipped into the finished record. On the final track of Dark Side of the Moon, an orchestral version of Ticket to Ride can be faintly heard in the background. The snippet had been playing at Abbey Road during the recording of a spoken word passage delivered by Jerry O'Driscoll, the studio doorman, who mused that there was no actual dark side of the moon, only the illusion of light created by the sun. Released in March 1973, Dark Side of the Moon became one of the most successful albums of all time, selling over 45 million copies and spending more than 1,500 weeks on the Billboard charts. In 2024, a special Record Store Day edition renewed its momentum, adding another 10,000 sales in a single week, an extraordinary feat for a record more than 50 years old. It is remarkable to consider how different the album might have been had McCartney's contributions been included. For an artist whose career is defined by legendary moments, this remains the rare what if in his story. Still, at over 80 years old, McCartney shows no sign of slowing down. His Got Back tour continues to draw massive crowds, making every performance a must-see for fans eager to witness history in motion.